Hello everyone, welcome back to the Film Feast Ketchup Edition. Yeah, we're still doing that. My name is Sam Donches, I am your host, and today we're going to talk about stuff. But it's Star Wars stuff, so get excited, yeah! Woo! Get your asses up, I want to see your Wookiee paws and your Twi'lek tentacle heads! Actually, we're going to be talking about the Star Wars spin-off movies, and the guys who are directing them. As some of you probably remember, back when Disney first acquired Lucasfilm in late 2012, early 2013, one of their first big announcements was a new Star Wars trilogy. But they also announced Star Wars spin-off movies about specific characters. Who those specific characters were was never officially announced, and that is what I'm here to speculate about a little bit. I don't like to speculate much, it makes my brain hurt, it makes you confused, and if we're wrong, everyone's unhappy. But let's get down to the first guy. Gareth Edwards, who directed the 2014, this year's Godzilla, and a few years ago he directed a movie called Monsters. It was kind of a cult hit, I guess you could say. A lot of people liked it. It was an indie movie, and he did the visual effects for the movie himself. I gotta fact check myself on that. Give me my iPad. Pull my iPad. Got it! I definitely did my own visual effects for that one, could you tell? Bet you couldn't tell. It was so realistic. Ah, yes, he did do his own visual effects for that movie, so that's pretty impressive. Personally, I was a big fan of his take on Godzilla. I thought he had a really good eye for what the creature itself was supposed to look like, but also his level of control over the story, maybe not the actors, was really impressive, especially for a sophomore effort. The idea that he was trying to really push was the sheer terror of an incident like that happening and what it would be like to be in the middle of that. Maybe it wasn't the perfect Godzilla movie, but I don't really have the best gauge on that, seeing as I've only seen 2 other Godzilla movies. But I still feel like choosing Gareth Edwards for one of these Star Wars spin-off films is a pretty good idea. So which character would Gareth Edwards make a movie about? A lot of theories have been tossed around that they're going to make a movie about Boba Fett, and Han Solo, and Yoda, and if I could choose any one of those that I feel like would best suit Gareth Edwards' sensibilities, it would probably be Yoda, but like a digital Yoda. It's like if you're gonna make a movie about Yoda, go back to the puppetry way of doing things, he was such a more interesting character when he was a puppet. Not necessarily. To be quite honest, I think the Yoda from the original trilogy and the Yoda from the prequel trilogy are kind of 2 separate characters. They serve the same purpose, but their personalities and their ways of going about things are very different. Also, one of them was definitely more utilized for selling toys. But that's not saying that a digital Yoda is a bad Yoda. You can still make a CGI character interesting. The most recent example, Caesar in Dawn and Rise of the Planet of the Apes. That was an interesting character, and he was completely CGI. Yes, Andy Serkis obviously put a lot of work into that character, and I don't want to short sell his contribution. But Caesar was also a collection of hundreds, maybe even more than that, of visual effects artists. And that's when it comes right back around to the director. Gareth Edwards, can he create an interesting CGI character? And my answer is yes, he created one with Godzilla. But it might not even be a Yoda movie. I'm getting way off track. It could be a Boba Fett movie, which I think the only interesting thing about Boba Fett is how little we know about him. A Han Solo movie would pretty much be the perfect middle ground, because we know enough about the character to appreciate him, but also there's plenty of room to learn more about him. It's the best of the 3 options. I mean, I guess you could kind of argue against the Boba Fett and Han Solo movie option, but still, all of these ideas are very unpolished and would need good talent behind them, which leads me to Gareth Edwards' screenwriter for this movie, Gary Whitta. Gary Whitta's previous works include The Book of Eli and After Earth, only one of which I've seen, and it's not very good. But I've heard some good things about The Book of Eli. People like that movie, right? So Gareth Edwards' big Star Wars spin-off movie is a bit of a mystery for the time being. You can speculate all you want in the comments below. And before I get to the next director, I want to talk about Star Wars spin-off movies in general. The only one I'm really familiar with is the Clone Wars movie, which it's not very good. It's like a long pilot for the Cartoon Network show, and it just doesn't work. It's got too many kiddie elements in it. If you want to watch any animated Star Wars Clone Wars series, check out the Genndy Tartakovsky version. It's really good, really well animated, from the guy who did Samurai fucking Jack. On the whole, Star Wars spin-off movies have not done well at the box office, so why is Disney still trying to push them on us? Well, money, of course. Money is the grand supreme chancellor of who gives a fuck. The bottom line is that Disney does not give a shit about what Star Wars fans think. They're gonna make these movies no matter what, and the movies are going to make money, because whether it's just kids going to see them, or kids and their parents, or you, they're still going to make money off of them. Disney has at least one more spin-off movie in the pipeline, and it already has a director. That director is Josh Trank. That name might sound familiar to you, because his debut film is 2012's Chronicle. He's also finishing up the Fantastic Four reboot just a couple hundred yards away from my apartment. Clearly, Trank has some very good connections in Hollywood, or it could be the Star Wars short film that he made, which I will link you to in the D box. Or maybe Disney just really liked Chronicle and they thought, hey, this guy, let's get him to direct one of our movies. But now you know what to expect a little bit more from these movies, except what they're about, and who's in them, and when they're coming out. But they are getting made, because they have directors. Join me for the next episode of The Film Feast, where I will be talking about the actor chosen to do the voice for Thanos in the upcoming Marvel movies. Thank you so much for watching. Pardon my cursories, but holy fucking shit! Edgar Wright has left Ant-Man. Or rather, they left each other. Hello everyone, welcome back to The Film Feast. My name is Sam Donches, I am your host, and I have to get right to this story because it is a long one with lots of bumps and bruises and pain. And it's just like that. Edgar Wright is off Ant-Man. And I know this is old news, catch-up edition and all that, but this is my vlog. This is a story that I really have been meaning to talk about and kind of itching to talk about in the worst way, because I hate it. I hate everything about this story. Edgar Wright, director of Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, one of my favorite movies of all time, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, and most recently The World's End, was planning on directing the Ant-Man movie for Marvel and Disney, and he had been writing it and working on it for years now. And just like that, Marvel sort of pulled the rug out from under him.